The problems with expeditions in Monster Hunter World. One of the game modes in Monster Hunter World is Expedition. The open worldiest of all the modes puts you in the field at any one of the locales available to you to gather resources and hunt whatever monsters that can spawn without concern over time. Here you can run into all the different turf wars and see a more natural look at these constructed environments and a bit of the complex AI built for all these creatures. Yet, I find this is currently the most underutilized mode when I play. Hey YouTube, I'm RasrasMagas and this is not real life. It may have to do with the lack of structure this mode offers, the lower difficulty in comparison to other quest avenues, or that limited item space tends not to mesh well for me with the be prepared aspect that hunts, especially in the late game, take. And so I find that I'm confused as to the point of expeditions. It doesn't take much research to see that this is not the most effective way of gaining gear or rare drops, especially, as stated previously, in the later part of the game. As of the time of making this video, I can only see two positives for expeditions. The first of which is the ability to face somewhat random foes, as most of you are probably already aware. Each locale is home to certain monsters, with some overlaps that count as territories. On an expedition, this enables you to go out and without picking, face one or all of the monsters of that locale. This will depend largely on your time spent in the expedition, and as a direct result, your quest rewards will vary from only a few for hunting one large monster, or to filling your reward box since you've gone through all of the monsters. For those of you who don't know, you can actually reset this box by talking to the handler at camps and putting away those items in your home box, as it were. And the second benefit to expeditions is finding random tempered monster tracks as attributed to each locale, which in turn will give you tempered investigations. However, this benefit is short-lived, as once you start getting tempered investigations, within those you will be able to pick up tempered monster tracks and droppings, such as feathers and scales, that will more reliably get you investigations, tempered or otherwise, than the original expedition could have yielded. Not to mention that all investigations and even quest events can often guarantee better item drops. Investigations have their tiered item system, with tempered investigations always giving out the highest tier items, and certain event quests giving out other rare items such as vouchers, armor spheres, and even one guaranteeing one heroic streamstone if you can kill the golden pickle. Which, again, appears to put us late game players in more of a conundrum as to why we should even play this mode. Hell, this mode isn't even listed on the Fextra Life Monster Hunter Wiki as a quest type, and is mentioned, as far as I can tell, only once on the Wikipedia wiki for Monster Hunter World's main page. That, coupled with that you can farm for just about everything, with very few exceptions, at the home base for a couple of points, leads me to consider that this mode is kinda broken. And I don't mean broken in the same way people who play competitive games use the term, which seems to be a conflation of that the game is broken because a move or tactic is too advantageous. I mean in a more literal way. Broken might not even be the right word for this. Incomplete may be a more accurate way to put it. I get the feeling that this mode could be great if it had some draw to it that differentiated it more from the others. Something that couldn't be done in the same way that other quests with their various constraints do. And since I do not have access to the minds at Capcom, I can only guess and suggest things that I have come up with or have gleaned from talking with others. The first of which is to push the foraging aspect further. Yes, I'm aware that occasionally when you head out, be it on an expedition or an investigation, occasionally items will respawn faster than others. It is usually marked with something telling you that the flora or the bone piles are set to respawn faster. Now, there may be an obtuse mechanic that is known to the 20-year vets of this series that can be defined and exploited, but with this it is not at all clear to me that there is one besides it being random. But this is also hampered by the limited item capacity. Perhaps this could be integrated with other in-game systems like bad weather. For example, let's say you go into the ancient forest on one quest and it's raining. It would be cool if you could immediately do an expedition there again, and all plant life now yields 3 times more than it would have under normal conditions. This, coupled with larger, perhaps infinite item space on expeditions only, or a different context command to have the item sent to your box instead of your inventory, could help make the foraging more engaging. The idea would be to allow you to collect en masse. So keep circle as the pickup for inventory, but maybe use X as a send to box option using the same context sensitive control scheme. Maybe an item could be introduced for expeditions, specifically that which helps facilitate the farming aspect of it. Some such items could be a multi-spit for roasting multiple bits of meat for well done steaks, a bug trap that can be placed to get more than one of a certain kind of bug, or using dung not just for dung pods but for fertilizer that helps herbs grow more often or yield more. Another change I'd suggest making would be tying certain monsters to certain collectibles. This would be to add on to the already complex behaviors of the large monsters when in proximity to certain items. Say you're in the Wildspire Wastes, trying to collect eggs for points. Maybe this could be a trigger for having Kuliyaku attack you for said egg. This already happens to a certain degree with Rathian and Rathalos, when you take a wyvern egg from a nest space, which will cause them to attack you. Or, if you harvest too many cactuses, have a point where Diablos will attack you for harvesting its food source. I feel this would not only add value to the expedition mode, but also bring out some more of the monster personalities, because as we all know, the monsters are the real stars of the game. Finally, I'd like to suggest the idea my brother came up with that could be used to augment the previous ideas. To do this, let's shift gears a bit and turn to a completely different game, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. If you've played Breath of the Wild, you'll recall there's a mechanic in that game that occurs pretty regularly and seemingly at random. The Blood Moon. In Breath of the Wild, this was utilized to respawn all the enemies you defeated to keep the threat of enemies ever present in the vast abandoned world they created. Without it, the seemingly empty world would become literally empty, besides the occasional town or monument. So my brother's suggestion was, what if some similar time-based event happened in Monster Hunter World, where only in expeditions, every so often, a bad moon, to avoid using Zelda's terminology, would appear and all the expedition monsters are tempered. The lore of Monster Hunter is invested in the life stream of the planet / bioenergy of the Elder Dragons, called the Everstream in-game. We can have an event where maybe there's unusual energy activity, maybe like an active volcano, which results in these tempered monsters. This would definitely make expedition mode worth investigating, as it could be an avenue that occurs every so often to provide in-game resources that would otherwise take a long time to acquire, or it can create unique play experiences. Maybe not all the monsters need to be tempered, as this could create a massive difficulty spike. As it stands, expedition mode is the easiest mode difficulty-wise. Imagine facing a tempered Anjanath, only to be interrupted by tempered Rathalos and tempered Devilger. Maybe the difficulty spike would be good. There are late game quests where you have to face multiple tempered monsters anyway, and this way they can get the most out of utilizing already programmed behaviors beyond the occasional rotating event quest or replaying optional quests. Either way, I would like to see some sort of utilization for this game mode to make it more worthwhile. As it currently stands, it's not providing any gameplay experience that, as far as I can tell, isn't provided elsewhere. For those of you who are 20-year vets, or even if you just figured it out, please let me know in the comments if there is a great benefit to this mode that I've completely missed. Also, let me know if you've thought of anything that may help make this mode more viable. If you think this mode is fine as it is, let me know what aspects of it make it work for you. I'm RasrasMagas. This is Not Real Life. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time.